Hello and welcome back to another edition of your favorite CU sports show, Buff Sports Live. I'm Ben Wells.
And I'm Sarah Baines. We have a packed show for you, including news about the football team, soccer, Ralphie, and more. But Ben, what do you say we start with the most exciting news of the week? The Buffs win over Stanford at the homecoming game.
Yes, Sarah, you said it. The Buffs hosted the Stanford Cardinal this past Saturday and finally ended that long losing streak. It was an intense battle, and it ultimately ended on the last play of the game, with Davis Price sinking a 37-yard attempt to give the Buffs a 16-13 win. CU has a bye week this week, but hosts Washington on the 23rd.
Was at the stadium to recap the rest of the game for us. Vinay, take it away.
It was from this spot right here, a 37-yard field goal from Evan Price that gave the Buffaloes their win. It snapped a 5-game losing streak. It's the first time they've won in November since 2016. And here's Mel Tucker on getting that monkey off their back for the first time. The Buffaloes scored on their opening drive. It was a 13-yard run by Steven Montez, but after that they weren't able to find the end zone. Evan Price kicked 3 field goals, and the last field goal was set up by this monster run by Laviska Chenault, who would not be denied on 4th down and 1. Here's them talking about that play. With this win, the Buffaloes' bowl hopes are still alive. They've got to win out the rest of the season. If they want to go to a bowl game, they'll go to a bye week this week before they're back in action after that. For Buff Sports Live, I'm Vinay Simlon. Back to you.
The Buffs truly redeemed themselves this past Monday as the women's soccer team celebrated their placement in the NCAA Soccer Selection Show. And last season they missed that shot to participate, but have come back with a vengeance as they'll rematch Northern Colorado tomorrow. The Buffs finished the season with a 11-7-2 record.
Yeah, so that game tomorrow against Northern Colorado Bears is in Boulder. CU will be hosting the Bears for the first round of the NCAA tournament at noon. Saturday's game will be a rematch from earlier this season in which the Buffs won 4-0. However, this game won't be quite so easy to win, as UNC is coming off a 3-game win streak at home. This will be the fifth time, the Buffs have made the tournament under head coach Danny Sanchez.
And as I'm sure most of you already know, Ralphie 5, named Blackout, has retired. We'll have more on that later in the show, but we've decided to dedicate our trivia question to the Ralphies of old. We are asking you, when did Ralphie first appear at a CU football game? We'll let you know the answer to that at the end of the show, so stay tuned for the answer.
That is a doozy of a question. I hope our viewers are up to that one, Sarah.
I don't know if they are. I know, and I cannot believe Ralphie's retiring.
Yeah, we'll get more into that later, but for now we're just going to take a short break, and our beloved Zoe Paulson will soon be here to talk more about Ralphie.
Don't go anywhere.
Deserves a second look. Michael taking off, the patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach out. Pass on left wing, looks behind him, wide open, right wing. Up top, open for 3, fires.
Really good basketball, Mark. Unselfish, smart basketball.
Open for 3, fires, nothing but nylon from downtown. Good ball move by Colorado.
And I know we are back, and it's about time for Buff Banner. Zoe Paulson is in the studio here to tell us all about Ralphie's history. Take it away, Zoe, but don't give away the answer to the trivia question.
What is up, CU fans? This is Zoe Paulson here for this week's edition of Buff Banter. Because Ralphie 5 is retiring, we've decided to walk you through a history of Ralphie. Now, I'm not going to tell you when she first made her debut because I don't want to spoil our trivia question for later in the show. Ralphie 1 was purchased for $150 and donated to the university. Ralphie didn't run onto the field during her first game, but stood on the sideline and slept in her trailer. Colorado won that game 10-0. The debut of Ralphie leading the team onto the field started the following year when Colorado beat Baylor 27-7. Ever since then, Ralphie has been leading the way as the football team takes the field. In 1976, they would do a fundraiser to send Ralphie to the Orange Bowl game against Ohio State. The travel information was top secret since Colorado was concerned that Ohio State students would try to kidnap or buff-nap Ralphie. The story stimulated over $25,000 in donations after making national news. She attended every Colorado home football game for 13 years, including all bowl games, and retired at the end of the 1978 season. Colorado's first Ralphie achieved national celebrity status and was even kidnapped in 1970 by some Air Force Academy cadets, as well as being named Colorado's 1971 homecoming queen. In 1968, Ralphie also ran for student body president with the slogan, "What's it to you?" Sadly, she did not win the election. Ralphie won passed the torch on to Ralphie 2 in 1978 during the final home game of the season. Standing on the sideline as the first Ralphie made her final run around the field for the first half run, Ralphie 2 took over for the second half run, and the legacy was carried on. Ralphie 2 was expected to retire at the end of the 1987 season. However, at the age of 12 and after serving the Buffs for 10 years, Ralphie 2 died in 1987, following a 31-17 Colorado win over Stanford. She was buried in Hudson, Colorado. In 1985, a farmer discovered the mom of a newborn buffalo had died during labor, but the calf was still alive, just standing there all alone. He brought the calf back to his ranch where she was bottle-fed and raised with horses and a goat. In 1987, she was donated to the university. Ralphie 3 was a lot bigger and faster than her two predecessors and was given the name Tequila because of her fiery personality. Ralphie 3 led the Buffaloes onto the field in 73 games, including 8 bowl games. After 11 years of service, she died in 1998 at the age of 12, and her final game was against Nebraska. Ralphie 4 was found abandoned, alone, and just having survived a coyote attack as a newborn calf. She made her debut against CSU at Mile High Stadium in Denver in 1998. Colorado won 42-14. Her final game was also against CSU in 2008. Colorado won that game, and Ralphie 4 retired after 10 years of service and lived out her retirement in Henderson, Colorado. This has been Zoe Paulson with Buff Banner. Back to you guys at the desk.
Did you know that winning is better than losing? I guess the New Jersey Institute didn't when the Buffs women's basketball team landed a big win to jumpstart their season this past Sunday. Head coach J.R. Payne didn't quite expect the win, keeping her expectations low, as early games typically don't mean much success as the season gets going. However, it was an encouraging start for a team projected to finish at the bottom of the conference.
The women's basketball team is off to a hot start this season as they defeated the Wisconsin Badgers 74-57 last night to move to 2-0 on the season. Colorado had a 21-point lead at halftime and never looked back from that, leaning on senior Quinessa Kaloto and freshman Jalen Sherrod. Next up, the Buffs are hitting the road as they head up north to play the Wyoming Cowboys on Sunday.
The Colorado Buffaloes men's basketball team opened up their season in winning fashion, defeating Arizona State 81-71 in China. The Buffs led by 13 at halftime and built the margin to 17 before ASU put together a 30-13 run to tie the game. Colorado regrouped and regained the lead as CU veterans McKinley Wright IV and Tyler Bay took over down the stretch. Bay finished with 15 points and 12 rebounds for his 20th career double-double, while Wright had 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. The Buffs play San Diego tomorrow night at 8 for their home opener.
Following the win for the men's basketball team in China, Colorado debuted at number 25 in the first regular season top 25 AP poll. Colorado piled up 151 points to claim its first ranking since January 13th, 2014, so it's been a while. 3 Pac-12 teams are ranked ahead CU, and the first time they will play a ranked opponent will be December 7th against currently number 5 Kansas. Monday's ranking is Colorado's 40th all-time appearance and is the earliest ranking for the Buffaloes by calendar date. How about that, Ben? It looks like things are going pretty well for the basketball team.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty encouraging considering how the fall season's gone for a lot of our teams. The winter season's off to a better start. There were some rough showings.
Okay, hey now, Ben, let's not get too hasty. We've still got some fall sports reporting to do, but first we're going to take another break. When we come back, we've got volleyball, cross country, and Ralphie. Don't go away.
An artist, I'm not, but I am the voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson, and you're watching BuffSports Live. They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it its time?
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
The Buffs volleyball team fell 1-3 to the USC Trojans Saturday night at the CU Event Center. Outside hitters Alyssa Alcantran and Justine Spann led the team with 17 and 15 kills respectively. Defensively, Rachel Whipple had her 5th 20-dig performance of the season. Colorado will be on the road this weekend as they look to get wins against Washington today and Washington State on Sunday.
Both cross-country teams are heading to Salt Lake City for the NCAA Mountain Regionals. The tournament will be pretty tough for both the men and women's teams. The 8th-ranked women's team will have 5 other top 30 teams in their pool, while the men face 4 other top 30 teams, including the top 2 teams in the nation. The Buffs have had a lot of success at regionals in the past, though, as the men have won 21 times and the women have won 15.
As we said earlier, Ralphie 5, aka Blackout, is retiring. We have prepared a short video to look back on her career here at CU.
She's one of the most recognizable mascots in college football. But this week, Colorado Athletics announced Ralphie 5, or Blackout, is retiring. Blackout began her career at CU in 2008 with a rocky start. Her handlers couldn't get the handle on.
Just got 3 of the handlers off. There's one guy holding on, and Ralphie's running to the near sideline, now surrounded, and they finally have, to some extent, corralled her in again. Boy, she's yanking like crazy. That's part of the training of a new Buffalo.
But after that, she shed the famous Ralphie blanket. She ushered in a new era of Ralphie, leading the team out 76 times through wins and losses, even making the trip to San Antonio for the Alamo Bowl. But this season was different. After back-to-back games where Ralphie didn't run, athletic director Rick George decided it was time. In a statement, the university said Ralphie 5 has been so excited to run that she was actually running too fast, which created safety issues for her and her handlers.
Ben, I still can't believe she's retiring.
I know, it's the only Ralphie we've ever known. Hanging up the hooves. It's heartbreaking. But, you know, as they say, the show must go on.
It's okay, Ben. You'll get to see plenty of Ralphie 6 because I don't have any doubt that you'll be here 5th year. Anyway, after the break, we'll keep you up to date on CU's upcoming sporting events, the answer to our trivia question, and the tweet of the week.
Forward in Mike and Q talent in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mike up on 2. All right, take 1 and fade camera 2. Take 3. Ready, red. Roll red. Take cam 1. Take red. Take it. Come on, roll red. Let's go. All right.
Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just calling the show.
There's no show.
Oh man, I know it's shorts weather today, but it's feeling even hotter in here. I think that means it's finally time for Rapid Fire. Jessica Cha is here with our hottest segment. Jessica, let's turn up the heat.
Oh, is this Buff Banter? No, it's Rapid Fire, and it's my first one, so get ready for the best one of the season. Who likes knowing what's going on in the BuffSports world? I do. I like being informed because I'm a responsible student and person. So the first game coming up this week on Friday today is the BuffSports cross-country team competing in the NCAA Mountain Region Championship in Salt Lake City. 5 of the top 30 teams will be there, so good luck, Buffs. The second game calls for the presence of the women's soccer team as they face off with Northern Colorado this Saturday at noon as they've entered the NCAA soccer selection show, making a massive comeback from last year's disappointing season. Looks like it might be an even match, but winning has kind of been Sue's thing lately. So let's see who turns up the champion. Next up is the men's basketball game on Saturday night at 8 p.m. facing off with San Diego tomorrow. San Diego has beaten us the past 2 seasons, so let's make sure to cheer on our team to bring home the dub. Lastly, but not leastly, we have the Buzz volleyball team finishing its last road trip game of the season this Sunday at 9 p.m. against Washington. We've only won 3 out of 4 games so far, so I'm not scared. Bring it on, Washington. If you're an old soul and still have a cable subscription, catch the game and send good vibes to our Buffs out of state. So this has been your weekly edition of Rapido Fire-O. How'd I do? Let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Back to you guys in the studio.
We know you've been waiting super eagerly and patiently, so we're pleased to say that it's finally time for our trivia answer. If you remember, we asked you, when did the first Ralphie make her debut at a CU football game? The answer is October 1st, 1966. Yes, it's been over 50 years since our beloved mascot first represented our school. And we're so excited for Ralphie 6 to continue the tradition next year, and Ben is excited to enjoy his 5th year watching her.
Yeah, we have a very tragic tweet of the week for you this week. As you may remember, Brendan Rice, the son of NFL legend Jerry Rice, is committed to CU, or so we thought. In this tweet, Brendan talks about time being money and money being time, and he has decided to decommit due to the lack of a Chick-fil-A in close proximity to Boulder. A truly sad day for the program, as we were all very excited to see what Brendan would bring. And now this is just the worst part of the show, the absolute worst. It's over already.
I know, Ben, even though we've been in BuffSports Live together since freshman year, this is our very first time anchoring together. I think it went okay, but I think it's the first and last time.
Okay, whatever you say, Sarah. I think I did pretty well. Yeah, so that's it for us. Unfortunately, I guess in Sarah's case, fortunately, it is time for us to say goodbye. Have a great weekend, and go Buffs.